The sky above Earth's United Central Embassy was crystal clear. A crowd of humans and alien delegates gathered on the landing platform, dressed in formal uniforms and robes of peace. Cameras floated in the air, recording every angle. It was a day of historic unity, one that had been negotiated for years. A soft hum rolled across the platform as the alien ship approached. Shaped like a burning flower, the vessel from the virulent empire descended slowly, releasing golden dust in its wake. Every human stood straight. The alien diplomats dropped to one knee, placing 2 fingers on their foreheads, a gesture of deep respect. From the ship's open hatch, a tall and elegant alien girl stepped out. Her name was Sirai, daughter of the High Matron of the Virulon. Flameseed. Her skin shimmered like molten silver, and her long braid moved as if floating in water. Eyes glowing with calm fire, she held her hands in a ceremonial pose, expecting the human leader to offer her the words of union, a formal line of blessing meant to welcome a flame-born heir. But that didn't happen. Instead, a single human stepped forward from the crowd. He wasn't dressed like the others. No medals, no golden chains. Just a simple dark suit. He had kind eyes and messy hair. He walked straight up to her, and then, before anyone could stop him, he hugged her. A full, warm, 2-armed human hug. Sarai's body froze. Her heart stopped for a moment. No one, not even her mother, had ever touched her directly. Her people believed the sacred flame inside her could burn or react violently to contact. And yet, this hug didn't hurt. Instead, it felt warm. Not physically warm, spiritually, the crowd gasped. Alien elders hissed in alarm. A few human guards reached for their combs, unsure what to do. Some virulent priests shouted, calling it a blasphemy, demanding the human be punished. But Sarai didn't push him away. Her hands trembled. Then, her chest began to glow faintly. A soft pulse of golden light spread across her skin, shaped like curling fire vines. Everyone saw it. Virulent guards stepped back, terrified. Even Sarai's personal bodyguard, a towering woman named Vale, blinked in disbelief. What? What have you done? Sarai whispered. Leo Morgan, the human ambassador. Leo Morgan, the human ambassador, slowly pulled back, still holding her arms. Gently. I'm sorry, I just felt like you looked lonely. It's like you needed it. She stared at him, her lips parted, but no words came. Instead, the glow grew stronger, then faded gently. Suddenly, a sharp voice cut the silence. Move. Away from her. It was Commander Vale, her bodyguard. But she wasn't pointing her blade at Leo. Her weapon, a long, curved flamesword, was drawn and glowing. She pointed it at Sirai. Gasps filled the air again. Sirai turned to her guard, confused. What are you doing? She asked. Vale didn't answer right away. Her eyes were locked on the fading symbols across Sarai's arms and collarbone. The touch, the old prophecy. You have awakened it, Vale said quietly. You're no longer pure. That's nonsense, Sarai replied, her voice cracking. Leo stepped in front of her, arms raised. You're not hurting her, he said firmly. Stand down, human. Vale growled, but the sword didn't move forward. Everyone watched humans and aliens, both as Sarai slowly stepped around. Leo stood directly before the blade. If you truly believe I've become unworthy, strike me, she said. Vale hesitated. The blade trembled. Sarai added, softer now, but if there is truth in what's happening, then let me find it. Let me understand why the touch chose this moment, why this human. The wind was silent. Finally, Vale lowered her sword. But her eyes were filled with fear. Then understand quickly, my lady, for if you've awakened that flame, your life may no longer belong to us. The alien crowd began to whisper. The humans watched in confusion, having no idea what the touch or the flame meant. Sarai turned back to Leo, her voice calm but serious. You may have started something that cannot be undone. Leo gave a small nod. If I did, then let's find out together.
Yes.
Far above them, the alien ship's central crystal pulsed just once, quiet, watching, reacting. The ceremony was broken, but something far more powerful had begun. Sarai sat alone in the glass chamber of her temporary quarters, high above the city. Far from the noise of earth, the room had no corners, only smooth curves like the inside of a pearl. Her fingers hovered over her own skin, tracing the fading gold lines that had appeared during the hug. They were gone, now almost. But something inside her still buzzed, like a sleeping star had been shaken awake. She had not asked for this. The union between virulins and humans was supposed to be diplomatic, ceremonial. She was here to form peaceful ties, not become part of some old legend whispered by flame keepers and myth singers. And yet, when the human touched her, when Leo embraced her, it had felt real, like he reached something she didn't know she was hiding. Her hand trembled again. That wasn't supposed to happen. The Flameborn did not tremble. But her hand didn't care about old rules anymore. Outside, Earth's sky was orange with sunset. Had happened. News reports called it the hug that changed the treaty. Some believed it was a mistake. Others thought it was the beginning of something new. But inside the chamber, Sarai's thoughts were far from politics. A soft chime broke the silence. The door slid open, and an elder virulin, his skin gray like ash, his robes dark with ceremonial feathers, stepped inside without bowing. "You are unwell," he said, though it was not a question. "I am." "Changed," Sarai replied, looking away. "The council believes you are contaminated. They believe the human has triggered the flame inside you without consent, without tradition." "I didn't stop him," she said softly. "Maybe didn't want to." The elder flinched as if burned. "The sacred line must not be broken. Flame chooses through trials, not accident. If the touch is real, it will spread. If it is false, it will fade. Then let it spread," Sarai whispered, "or let it burn me." I stared at her in disbelief. Later that night, the chamber lights dimmed, and a figure approached the shielded entrance. Leo stood on the other side, unsure if the guards would shoot him. He carried no weapons, just a sealed food pack and a small thermal flask. The guards let him through. No one told them to. They just moved aside, quietly, like something bigger than them had passed. Sarai didn't turn to look when he entered. "I brought tea," he said, placing it on the table. "I don't know what you drink, but this one's warm and sweet." She finally turned to face him. Her eyes, once proud and untouchable, now looked tired. But she didn't ask him to leave. "You broke our rituals," she said quietly. "Oh, do. You know what that means?" Leo sat across from her, slow and careful. "No. I just saw someone who looked like they'd been standing alone for too long." Her lips almost curled. Almost. "Did anyone ask you to do it?" she asked. "No. It just felt right. You looked like you needed a real welcome." Sarai reached for the tea. Her fingers brushed his. Again, a tiny spark lit between them. This time, neither of them pulled away. "Your people think I'm dangerous now," she said. "My people think I'm crazy," Leo replied with a small smile. "But they're both wrong." A silence settled between them, but it was not empty. It was full, alive. And in that silence, Sarai asked the question that had haunted her since the hug. "Have you ever heard of the Flamebond prophecy?" Leo shook his head. "They say, a true connection across species one, not forced by treaty or arranged by politics, can awaken the sleeping flame in the Flameborn. But only if the other is pure of heart. Only if he acts without knowing what it will cost." He blinked. "That's oddly specific." She sipped the tea, and no one believed it. Until now. The floor beneath them shifted slightly. Tremor. Then a low pulse echoed through the walls of the chamber. Sarai stood, placing her hand on the glass wall. The glow from earlier returned, this time on both her hands. A mark began forming on her right palm, shaped like a ring of fire around a single drop. Leo stood beside her, stunned. "What is that?" "It's a sign of the Flamebond," she said. "It means the flame has accepted a connection. And now it's growing." The pulse came again, louder this time. Far below, Across the city, alien sensors lit up in confusion. Flame-bond frequencies, long thought extinct, were waking. Sarai's voice lowered. And if this bond is real, they'll want to control it, ... or destroy it. Leo nodded slowly. Then maybe we should find out what it really means, before they decide for us. The room grew quiet again, but this time it wasn't silence. It was the sound of fate beginning to move asterisk. Alarms never rang in the Sky Embassy. It was designed to be the most peaceful place on Earth, floating above the clouds, a symbol of hope between species. But tonight, silence felt more dangerous than sirens. Sarai watched the flickering holograms. Floating before her, flame bond readings were spreading across her system scan. Her body was changing. Her cells, once stable, noble, cold, were adapting to what she didn't fully understand. But the source was clear. Leo, he stood in the next room, unaware that his presence had triggered something ancient. He thought he had just offered kindness. But that kindness had cracked a wall built over generations. Sarai's private chamber door opened without warning. Two virulent guards stepped in silent, faces hard like polished stone. Behind them walked Matron, Lysel, Sarai's aunt, and a high-ranking elder of the Flame Council. Her robe flowed behind her like smoke. Her silver eyes focused on her niece with both love and fury. "You are to return to the ship," Lysel said coldly. Immediately, Sarai didn't move. "Why? You formed a bond with the human. You were contaminated." "No," Sarai answered. "I'm connected. There's a difference." "You do not understand what you've awakened," Lysel hissed. "That man his touch has marked you. If the old flame inside you continues to grow, you may lose control. And the council will not risk another ignition." "Then let me speak with the council." "They're not asking," her aunt said sharply. "This is an exile, not an invitation." Sarai felt her heart sink. "You're casting me out?" "I'm trying to protect the bloodline," Lysel replied, "and the galaxy." Behind them, the guards raised their staffs, but Sarai didn't. "Go quietly." She lifted her palm, the mark glowing like a living sun. A sudden pulse pushed the guards back, not violently but firmly. They stumbled, shocked. "You forget who I am," Sarai said, her voice strong. "I am not a child. I am flameborn. And if the flame accepts the bond, ... then so do I." Liesel's eyes narrowed. "You would break tradition for a human. I would break silence for truth." Outside the chamber, Leo paced the hallway. He knew something was wrong the moment Sarai's glow returned. When he saw two guards storm out and call for a ship prep, he acted. He didn't know protocols. He didn't care. He slipped into the transport bay and climbed aboard the same ship. Sarai was being taken too. When Sarai entered the ship, her wrists bound in a ceremonial cord, she was shocked to find Leo already there, sitting in the pilot's chair, like it was his living room couch. He grinned. "I figured I might as well get a window seat." The guards raised weapons instantly. "Don't," Sarai shouted. But Leo stood slowly and lifted his hands. "I'm not here to fight. I'm here to stay with her." The virulent guards hesitated. They weren't trained for this. No human had ever dared board one of their royal ships uninvited. Their protocol AI buzzed, unsure how to process the moment. Then the ship responded. A soft tone, low and old, code through the walls. Lights changed from red to gold. Doors locked. The engines shifted. The ship itself recognized something. It accepted Leo. Sarai's eyes widened. "It knows, ... The ship's voice activated in Virilon. Flamebond acknowledged. "Dald. Protocol override. Accepted. Flight path set. Exile route." Leo looked at Sarai. "What does that mean?" She swallowed. "It means the ship thinks you're part of me now." The guards froze. Matron Lysel, who had followed them to the bay, stood stunned. "It cannot be, ... And then it was too late. The ship lifted. It rose through the clouds past the orbital beacons and vanished into the black of space. Inside, Sarai sat beside Leo, finally free of watchers and rules. Her cuffs fell apart the moment the engines jumped to hyperfold. The flame within her pulsed once gently. "Why did you do it?" she asked him quietly. Leo leaned back, "Because I couldn't let you face it alone." A silence passed between them, but unlike before, it felt safe, felt earned. And then, in the quiet hum of the ship, Sarai asked, "Have you heard of the world that waits?" Leo frowned. "No. What is it?" "They say it's a planet where the first flame bond took place thousands of years ago. A bond so powerful, it scared both empires. It was erased from the records, but my body, my flame, is pointing there now." He looked out the window. "Then that's where we go." From the shadows of space, another ship followed them silent, cloaked, watching. Someone else knew what was coming. And they would not let Sarai and the human reach that world so easily. Asterisk. The stars stretched endlessly outside the ship's viewport as Sarai and Leo sat in the dim glow of the control room. The silence between them was thick, but not heavy. It was filled with the weight of what had happened and what was coming. Suddenly, the calm was shattered by a sharp alert. The ship's sensors screamed a warning. Another vessel was approaching. Fast, cloaked, and deadly. Before Leo could react, the door hissed open. 3 figures slipped inside, moving like shadows. Their armor was black, sleek, and edged with red light. The assassins of the Virilon Flame Council, sent to capture Sarai and bring her back, or kill her if she resisted. Sarai rose immediately, the glow on her skin flaring bright as her body responded to the threat. Leo stood beside her, fists clenched, ready to protect the only person who had shown him kindness in this strange, vast universe. One assassin lunged forward, blades flashing. Sarai moved faster, her hands igniting in real fire that did not burn her but burned the air. She threw a wave of flame that forced the attackers to stagger back. Leo grabbed a metal rod from nearby and swung at the nearest enemy, the assassin. Dodged, but Leo's strike connected with armor plating, creating a shower of sparks. The fight was brutal and fast. Sarai's flames twisted and danced, forming shields and sharp tendrils. Each move was precise, but her energy was uneven sometimes. Too weak to hold, sometimes too strong to control. One assassin caught her off guard, slicing her arm. She gasped, feeling cold pain, but the wound healed almost instantly, glowing gold. Leo noticed and shouted, "You're healing. You're not just any alien." Sarai nodded, but there was no time to explain. She used the pain to focus, channeling the flame deeper into her core. The fire around her exploded, pushing the assassins back as they retreated. The leader, a tall figure cloaked in dark robes, stepped forward, pointing a finger at Sarai. "You defy the council's will." "The flame bond was never meant to be shared with your kind," he said coldly. Sarai's voice was steady. "Then your council is afraid of change." The assassin smiled cruelly and vanished into a burst of smoke, signaling his team to retreat. Leo helped Sarai to a seat, carefully checking her arm. That was too close. She looked at her glowing skin. "They fear the bond because it breaks their control, because it makes us more than what they want us to be. We have to keep moving," Leo said. "If they send more, we'll need allies." Sarai stared at the stars again. "The world that waits is more than a legend. It holds the secret to the flame bond's true power," Leo asked. "What kind of secret?" She hesitated, then spoke slowly. "That bond is not just fire, it is life. It can create or destroy." He nodded, feeling the weight of their journey. Growing heavier outside, hidden in the shadows of space, the cloaked ship followed silently. The war for Sarai's freedom had only just begun. The ship drifted through the endless black of space, carrying Sarai and Leo far from the worlds they knew. The hum of the engines was the only sound as they journeyed deeper into the unknown. Sarai sat quietly, her eyes closed. The wound on her arm was gone, but the memory of pain lingered. She could feel the flame inside her growing stronger, more restless. It was like a living thing, hungry and searching for something. Leo watched her carefully. "You've changed since the attack." She opened her eyes, glowing softly in the dim light. I am becoming more myself, but I do not know what I will become. He nodded. We'll figure it out together. Days passed. They traveled through starfields and nebulae, the ship guided by an ancient map, locked deep in Sarai's memories. It was leading them to the world that Wet's a hidden planet, said to hold the origin of the flame bond. One evening, as the stars shone like diamonds outside, Sarai stood before the ship's viewing window. Leo joined her, sensing the weight of her thoughts. Tell me about this place, he said. Sarai's voice was soft but full of wonder. The world that waits is a place of power. The first flame bond was made between our ancestors and humans. It is said that those bonds changed the course of history, saving galaxies from destruction. Leo smiled faintly. Sounds like a good place to start. Suddenly, the ship's alarms blared. The hidden enemy had found them again. This time, it was not just assassins. A fleet of sleek warships appeared on their sensors, blocking their path. Sarai's eyes narrowed. They want to stop us from reaching the world that waits. Leo gripped the controls. Then we'll have to fight our way through.
Battle was fierce.
Lasers streaked across space, explosions rocked the hull, and the ship shuddered under fire. Sarai's flames flared wildly, protecting the ship's core and healing damage faster than the weapons could destroy it. Inside, Leo coordinated their defense, piloting with skill and determination.
Nice.
They fought not just for survival, but for a future no one else dared to imagine. Amid the chaos, Sarai felt a strange warmth growing in her chest, calm within the storm. The flame inside her was guiding her, whispering secrets of strength and unity. As the enemy fleet closed in for another attack, Sarai reached out her hand, and a wave of golden fire burst forth, engulfing the enemy ships in brilliant light. Leo looked at her in awe. You're more powerful than I ever imagined. She smiled, hope shining in her eyes. And we've only just begun. As the last enemy vessel fled, the ship's course shifted toward a glowing blue planet below the world that waits. The future was uncertain, but Sarai and Leo knew one thing for sure. Together, they would face whatever came next. The world that waits looked like a jewel floating in the vast darkness of space, a planet wrapped in swirling blue and white clouds, untouched and mysterious. Sarai's ship glided closer, the ancient navigation systems humming in harmony with her own growing flame. Inside the control room, Alea stood beside Sarai, watching as the planet's surface came into view. Forests stretched endlessly, rivers glittered like silver threads, and mountains rose like sleeping giants. It was beautiful, peaceful, a stark contrast to the turmoil they had left behind. Sarai's breath caught. This place holds the truth we seek. As the ship entered orbit, an energy field shimmered ahead, a barrier guarding something hidden beneath the clouds. Sarai reached out instinctively, and her hands glowed brighter, resonating with the planet's pulse. Suddenly, the ship shook. Systems flickered. The ancient vessel responded not as a machine, but as a living guardian. A deep voice filled the cabin, echoing inside their minds rather than through speakers. Flame-bonded children, you have arrived. The past and future converge here.
I will.
You prove worthy? Sarai and Leo exchanged a glance. This was no ordinary world. It was alive. The ship's doors opened onto a vast hall carved from glowing crystal. Light danced across walls, etched with symbols of fire and life stories of ancestors who had forged bonds stronger than steel or flame. Sarai stepped forward, her flame reacting, illuminating a pathway deep into the heart of the planet. Leo followed, all growing with every step. In the center, a pedestal held a sword forged from pure light. Sarai reached for it, feeling warmth flood her veins. The sword hummed in response, connecting to the flame within her. Images flashed, memories of the first flame bond. Two beings from different worlds who joined not by law or war, but by choice and trust. Their union had sparked a light that healed galaxies and forged peace across star systems. Leo's hand found hers. We're part of that story now. But as Sarai lifted the sword, a shadow moved behind them. the cloaked assassin from before, stepped forward, eyes burning with hatred. "You will not claim the power meant for the Flame Council alone," he hissed. "Return now or be destroyed." Sarai tightened her grip on the sword. "This power belongs to those who dare to unite, not divide." The assassin lunged. Flames erupted as Sarai met his attack, the sword slicing through darkness like a beacon. The battle shook the chamber, light clashing with shadow. Leo joined, using the ship's tech to support her, creating barriers and distractions. Finally, the assassin fell, defeated but defiant. "This is only the beginning," he warned. Sarai stood tall, the sword blazing. "Then we will be ready." The planet around them pulsed with renewed life. The flame inside Sarai burned brighter than ever, no longer just a symbol of her people, but a force of hope for all. As they prepared to leave the world that waits, Leo looked at Sarai with determination. "The galaxy will never be the same," she smiled, her eyes shining like stars, "because we will change it." Asterisk, the galaxy watched in silent tension as Sarai's ship approached the core of the ancient star system.
Our word had spread.
Fast rumors of the flame-bonded human, an alien-defying tradition, and awakening powers lost for centuries. Allies and enemies alike prepared for what could change everything inside the ship. Sarai stood tall, her flame blazing like a beacon of hope. Leo stood beside her, steady and calm, a human who had dared to touch what others feared. "This is it," Sarai said softly. "The moment we prove that union can bring strength, not weakness." Outside, fleets gathered, some bearing flags of old alliances, others cloaked in shadows, ready to crush what they did not understand. The Council's forces, alien warships, and human fleets faced each other across cold voids, waiting for a signal, but Sarai and Leo refused to fight a war born of fear. Instead, Sarai raised the sword of light, the ancient symbol of the flame bond, and held it high. Her body glowed with golden fire, radiating power and peace. "We do not seek battle," she declared, her voice carrying across space through ancient communication arrays. "We seek unity." Slowly, the light spread from the ship, reaching the fleets like a warm sunrise. The flames touched ship hulls, calming weapons, dissolving hatred. A silence fell over the armadas. Eyes widened in disbelief. Could this bond truly change centuries of conflict? Sarai stepped forward, her voice strong. "Together, we are stronger. Divided, we fall. This flame burns for all who dare to believe." One by one, captains lowered weapons, ambassadors opened channels to speak. Not of war, but of peace. Leo smiled, turning to Sarai. "You made them see. Not with force, but with flame." Her gaze softened, because the flame lives in all of us, even in humans. Years later, the story of Sarai and Leo was told across worlds not as legend, but as truth. The flame bond became a symbol of hope, a reminder that strength came from connection, courage, and trust. The girl who had been expected to receive only ceremony had given the galaxy a new future. It's a future where humans and aliens stood together, blazing brighter than any star, and in the quiet moments when the fires dimmed and the stars whispered, Sarai and Leo knew their bond was not just power, it was love. The end.